Today, I'll be discussing managing workforce diversity and what it takes to build a workplace where every employee feels welcomed, treated fairly, and supported. This topic goes beyond representation alone. It also involves creating practices and environments that accommodate different perspectives, backgrounds, and needs. The central idea is that inclusion is both a people priority and a business priority. When employees can contribute fully and feel respected, companies are better positioned to strengthen collaboration, support engagement, and achieve lasting success. Diversity is no longer viewed only as an ethical responsibility. It is also a measurable business advantage, influencing innovation, decision-making, and profitability. Companies in the top quartile for ethnic diversity are 36% more likely to achieve above-average profitability. That advantage comes partly from perspective. When people with different experiences and viewpoints work together, they are more likely to challenge assumptions, identify opportunities, and develop creative solutions. In other words, a diverse workforce can strengthen both how an organization thinks and how it performs. Diversity is broader than the characteristics we may notice first. Primary dimensions include age, gender identity, race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, and physical ability, aspects that are often innate and deeply personal. Secondary dimensions, such as education, religion, socioeconomic background, military status, and work experience, develop through lived experience and can change over time. There is also cognitive diversity, the different ways people think, solve problems, and communicate. When managers recognize and value all three layers, they create stronger conditions for inclusion, collaboration, and innovation. Creating a welcoming workplace takes more than having inclusive policies on paper. It means intentionally shaping everyday experiences so people feel respected, included, and able to contribute. Belonging begins on day one, through onboarding that clearly communicates the organization's diversity values. It also depends on psychological safety, where employees can ask questions, raise concerns, and disagree without fear of retaliation. Finally, recognizing cultural events, heritage months, and personal stories helps honor the different backgrounds and experiences that strengthen the workplace. This slide distinguishes equality from equity, a difference that is essential when building fair organizational systems. Equality means giving everyone the same resources, while equity recognizes that employees begin from different circumstances and may need different kinds of support to succeed. Equity is about removing barriers, not lowering standards. In practice, that means conducting regular pay equity audits, using structured and consistent criteria for promotions, and offering targeted development programs for underrepresented groups. Together, these practices make fairness more measurable, transparent, and actionable across the organization. Compliance is a foundation of fair management, and these four laws establish the legal floor. The Civil Rights Act prohibits discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. The ADA requires reasonable accommodations for employees with disabilities. The ADEA protects workers age 40 and older from age-based discrimination in hiring and employment. And the Equal Pay Act requires equal pay for equal work, regardless of gender. Legal compliance is the minimum standard. Leading companies go further by building meaningful diversity and inclusion programs. This slide outlines 3 practical strategies for making inclusion part of everyday management. First, reduce bias in hiring by using structured interviews, diverse interview panels, and blind resume reviews. Second, provide ongoing training at every leadership level, beginning with senior executives, so leaders build skills in recognizing bias, practicing allyship, and communicating inclusively. Third, establish employee resource groups, such as Women in Leadership or an LGBTQ+ alliance. These groups create community, amplify employee perspectives, and provide meaningful channels for advocacy. The goal is to turn inclusive values into consistent organizational practices. Today's workforce can include 5 generations, each bringing distinct communication styles, levels of technological fluency, and work values. The goal isn't to stereotype these groups, but to recognize and leverage their strengths. Traditionalists often contribute loyalty, discipline, and institutional knowledge. Baby boomers bring strong work ethic, collaboration, and mentorship. Gen X adds autonomy, pragmatism, and adaptability. Millennials contribute tech fluency, purpose-driven thinking, and teamwork. And Gen Z brings digital nativity, social awareness, and innovation. Effective managers bridge these differences and turn them into one stronger team. You cannot manage what you don't measure, and DI metrics turn good intentions into accountability. The most important idea is to track both outcomes and employee experience. This slide highlights 3 reported signals. Diverse teams generate 3 times more innovation-driven revenue. 87% of employees and inclusive companies report greater job satisfaction and intent to stay, and companies with above-average diversity earn a 19% innovation revenue premium. Alongside these results, organizations should monitor advancement rates, inclusion scores, pay equity, and representation to understand where progress is and where action is still needed. This slide highlights 3 common ways DI efforts can fall short. Tokenism means hiring one diverse employee to appear inclusive without changing the broader culture. The solution is to embed DI across every level of the organization. Unconscious bias can quietly influence hiring and promotion, so structured decision processes and ongoing awareness training are essential. Finally, one-time initiatives rarely create lasting change. DI needs to become part of performance reviews, leadership expectations, and everyday organizational strategy. The goal is sustained inclusion, not symbolic action. The key takeaways are clear. Diversity drives performance by strengthening innovation, retention, and profitability. Equity means tailoring support to individual needs, rather than treating everyone identically. And lasting progress requires measurement, accountability, and continuous refinement. So inclusion becomes part of the culture, not simply a compliance exercise.